Chihuahua, that's hot. Hello everybody and welcome to my podcast, Inside Number 23. My name is Katie and I am coming to you from Hertfordshire, which is just north of London, where I live with my husband Emrys and our little pug puppy Rolly. And like I said, this is my podcast where I talk about sewing and knitting and my crafty life in general. This is episode number 14 and today it is Sunday, April 17th. I am endeavouring to make sure that I mention what day it is because a lot of people have said that they prefer that. I want to start off by saying a big hello and welcome to anybody who it's your first time being with me today. Welcome. I hope you enjoy spending a little bit of time with me. It's so lovely to have you. And a huge welcome back to anybody who is here for the second time or the third time or the 14th time, maybe even. Yay! This last week I have been on a little sewcation. I decided to take a little bit of time off work and dedicate that time literally just to sewing in particular, but just some really good craft time. But during that process, I've also been daily vlogging. Yay! Daily vlogging! Vlogging is actually what I started out doing on this channel. It's, to be honest, watching vlogs, different individuals doing vlogs is what got me into YouTube. I used to watch a lot of beauty vloggers, which I know that you did too, Jacqueline. So yay for all of that kind of thing. And it's something that I really enjoy, kind of doing almost like a video diary. So if you haven't checked that out, I will kind of link below everything that's going on in terms of my blogs so that you can go back and watch those. In terms of linking other things, you can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry as Miss Lavelli. You wouldn't think it was my 14th episode, honestly. Rookie mistakes not mentioning these things. We also have a Ravelry group for Inside Number 23. If you just search Inside Number 23 podcast, you will find it. Please come and join. We have an amazing group of people on there that make me so happy every day with your comments and your conversations. And it's just a lovely place to be. So come along and join us. Incidentally, that's also where I post my show notes for my episodes. I do post them below in the down bar, but if you go to the show notes on Ravelry, I tend to have lots of things magic linked. So it's a little bit more informative in terms of patterns and people that I mention. So I think it's probably the best place to read the notes that I write. But yeah, getting back to my sewcation and my daily vlogging, it's felt quite natural for me to come and talk to the camera because that's pretty much what I've been doing for the past 3-4 days, just chatting away by myself to my camera, and it's been lots of fun. So I wanted to start off by saying a big thank you to all of the support that you've been giving me regarding these vlogs. Everybody's feedback has been so positive and so enthusiastic, and everybody just seems super happy that there are extra videos on this channel. So if that's something that you want me to do on a more regular basis, then I would love to. I think I'm going to reserve it for specific events as opposed to just my daily life. If I were doing my day job as well as vlogging, believe me, it wouldn't be half as interesting. But I think for certain I will be vlogging during my time in Florida at the end of this year in October. So exciting about going to Florida, and for our trip to New York, which is now booked and confirmed, and I can say with 100% certainty that I will be in New York in January and I will be going to Vogue Knitting Live. Yay! I'm so excited. I know it's ridiculous really to get excited this far in advance for something, but I haven't been on a proper holiday for going on 6-7 years for more than a couple of days at a time, so I'm super happy to have these events in the calendar. And like I said, I will, fingers crossed, be vlogging for at least some of the time and have some lovely videos to share with you about my adventures. So yay, exciting. Let me talk about quickly what I'm drinking in my ever so cute little teacup, my little pink teacup with the feet that was a gift from Emrys for Valentine's Day. I'm just drinking some peppermint tea today. It's super simple. It's actually warming up. It's been pretty dreary over the last few weeks. We are in April in the UK and we do tend to get April showers, lots of rain, but today the sun has come out and the skies are blue, the birds are singing. It really feels like spring is springing, and so I didn't fancy anything too heavy. So a nice bit of light peppermint tea was in order. I honestly don't know how much longer I'll be able to drink regular tea on the podcast, just because as it gets warmer, I don't really want to have a hot beverage in hand when I'm doing this, but that should be fun because think of the huge variety of fancy cold drinks that I could be sharing on here instead. Before I get on to what I have been working on in terms of my knitting, I do have a couple of thank yous to say this week. I have been so lucky to receive some lovely gifts from people who are sending me patterns in particular this week. And to be more specific, first of all, I want to say a big thank you to Lara. That is Spinning Lara on Ravelry. Lara, thank you so much. She sent me a copy of the Great Game shawl, which I believe is based on the Game of Thrones, which I am obsessed with, and it's coming back so soon. I'm so excited, but it's a beautiful shawl, Lara, so thank you for that. Next, I'd like to say a big hello, huge amounts of love and thank you to Caroline, who is Quilter Caroline on Ravelry, who sent me a copy of her Seeds of Change shawl, which is stunning. It's kind of a shawl, scarf kind of thing. I think you can adapt it in various ways, but genuinely, thank you so much. I love it. I also got another shawl. It's been a very shawly week this week. From Marsha. Now Marsha is actually Very Little on Ravelry, and she co-hosts the Twitch and Stitch podcast, if I could put my teeth in. And I want to say an extra big special hello to Marsha. We have been chatting on Instagram and I think you're wonderful. We have so much in common, and fingers crossed we're going to be doing a co-host of a KAL later in autumn. A Fair Isle kind of KAL going on. It's all in the works and we're planning lots of bits and pieces, and it's really exciting, super exciting. Love you so much, Marsha. But she sent me a copy of her schmancy shawl, which I love to say, schmancy. Thank you so much. It's a beautiful pattern. I also want to do a quick apology to Melinda of the Yarn Woman podcast. As you may recall from last week, Melinda sent me a lovely package of goodies and minis and so many lovely bits and pieces. But she also gifted me some patterns on Ravelry, which was so generous. She gifted me a mittens and hat set that I have had in my favourites list for a very long time. So thank you, Melinda, for being so thoughtful, going through and gifting those to me. Love you so much. You know that I love you. But yeah, I just feel like the luckiest girl in the world to have so many people being so generous. So thank you. In terms of other things to be thankful for, one thing that is going on at Inside number 23 at the moment is the Harry Potter KAL! Oh my goodness, you guys, we are getting so close to the end of the Harry Potter KAL now. It started in March and it's running through to the end of April. And the only rules are that you have to knit or crochet or whatever, something Harry Potter themed. So a Harry Potter pattern, Harry Potter yarn, knitting an owl, because there are lots of owls, you know, Harry Potter themed objects. If you can link it to Harry Potter, that's cool with me. We have a chatter thread and a finished objects thread in the Ravelry group. And yeah, there's still time. There's still time to enter. A lot of people are starting to put in multiple projects now, which is amazing. Obviously, if you're knitting up more than one thing, put it in the FO thread. But as I promised you last week, I do have a little rundown of all of the prizes. The prizes that have been so generously donated by so many wonderful people, so thank you all. But now I'm going to cut to a video featuring everybody's favourite little furry co-host, because I know that if a podcast goes by and he's not in it, people get cross. But let me hand over to Katie and our little co-host Rolly the Pug, who are going to share with you exactly what prizes are on offer for the Harry Potter KAL! Hi guys! We're here! Rolly is, as you can see, incredibly excited to help me tell you about some of the amazing prizes that we have for the Harry Potter KAL. Yay! So we have been lucky enough to have some incredible prizes donated for the Harry Potter KAL, and I want to start off by saying a huge thank you and sending lots of roly kisses to everybody who has been kind enough to get in touch in terms of donating prizes to the KAL. Roly loves you all. He loves you all. In terms of the prizes, as I've said previously, we are going to have prizes awarded for both the finished object thread and the chapter thread. I've had some amazing patterns donated by lots of people. Some people have just kind of donated a pattern of your choice. Some people have donated their actual patterns. All of the pattern donations are going to be awarded to people who have posted in the chapter thread. What I'm going to be talking about are the physical prizes that I have with me, which are all going to be donated to people who have produced finished objects in the last 2 months. So now you will have seen some of these prizes before, but what I have done is I have divided a couple of them into special bumper prizes. Ooh. And some of them are just being given as individuals. So let me go through the specifics of each one of the prizes for the Harry Potter KAL. Bumper prize number 1. If you are the lucky winner of bumper prize package number 1, firstly, you will receive a bag by Lovely Carrie of Freckled Whimsy. You will also receive some yarn. This is the Mermaid of the Black Lake colourway, and it is by Molly of a Homespun house, and it's awesome. You will also receive some more yarn. This is Woolly Wonka Fibres. It's the brocade colourway, and it was kindly donated by Anne, who also donated a pattern book, knitting wizardry. And Anne actually produced quite a few of the patterns that's in this book, which is why I wanted to keep those together. But wait, that's not all. You will also receive some Progress Keepers. This is one of the Progress Keeper sets that was donated by Peggy May Yarns, who is Diane, and it's amazing. Little owl, little cup, and little magic wand. Oh, so much stuff, so much stuff. Bumper prize number 2. If you are the lucky winner of our bumper prize package number 2, you will also receive some amazing bits and pieces. Some yarn! This time, this yarn was donated by lovely Magdalena of Wolf and Schaefer, and it is the fishbowl colourway. Also has some little stitch markers attached on here. Thank you, Magdalena. Absolutely beautiful yarn. Also, some more yarn! Another kind donation by Molly of a Homespun house. This is her Half-Blood Prince colourway, and giving this away, you guys, is utterly breaking my heart. In addition to the yarn, you'll also get a knitting pattern book. This is Charmed Knits, which is by Alison Hansel, includes the amazing Weasley sweater that I've been knitting on myself. This was so generously donated by the lovely Becky. Thank you so much, Becky. But wait, you will also receive a project bag! This incredible project bag was made for us by the lovely Tracy of the Thimble and the Thread make, and it's just insane. It's unique and beautiful, and I love it, and you're so lucky to be getting this as a part of your prize package. You will also receive some more Peggy May Yarn Progress Keepers. These ones have a lovely little witch, a broomstick, and a snake. So it's a little bit more Slytherin themed, but fantastic. You could get all of this stuff! But wait, there's more! On top of these 2 incredible bumper prize packages, we do have lots of other things to give away as well. Can you believe it? Yeah! For individual prizes, we have one more set of the Peggy May Yarn Progress Keepers. This is the Deathly Hallows one, the kind of Harry themed one with the glasses and the scarf. We also have this incredible set of stitch markers and a progress keeper made by hand-drawn yarn, who is Om. So thank you so much for this donation. She made this specifically for us, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And finally, the last prize that is on offer, we've only gone and got a London House Yarn sock duo in the Yule Ball colourway, so kindly donated by Steph of London House Yarns, and it also has a little bit of tea in here, which I can vouch is absolutely delicious. Do you want to keep that one, Rolly? You don't want to give that? Okay. So I'm going to have to talk Rolly out of that prize because he really likes it, obviously. Oh, that's a nice scratch, isn't it? It's a nice scratch for a nice pug. Isn't Isn't that awesome? I am so excited. And again, let me just say thank you to everybody who has donated prizes. It's just incredible. And yeah, I'm sending you so much love. And so is this little nugget. Poor little poochie. You just want to go back to sleep, don't you? But for now, Rolly and I are magically going to send you back to the regular podcast. He's just a camera hog. Say bye, Rolly. Bye. So, are you excited? Because I'm excited because these prizes are awesome. Like I said, I can't thank you guys enough. Everyone who's donated, it's just wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But moving on, guys, shall we actually get on to some knitting-y goodness? Because that's probably why a lot of you are here. So let's start off with What's on my needles? It's been a funny old week for What's on my needles. Last week I gave you two finished objects, two different shawls that I'd finished. So my Starry Nights shawl, which was the Stephen West Exploration Station, and my Outlander shawl, which was Kay Jones's Duchess of Devonshire pattern. And I feel like I've kind of lost steam a little bit after doing so much finishing of last week. I had so much to show you, and this week I am considerably more limited, and I've become a lot more monogamous this week. So let me share with you what has been turning me into a monogamous knitter. So as you may recall from last week, the lovely, lovely Mina of the Knitting Expat podcast asked me to test knit one of her upcoming patterns, which is the Budding Bluebells Shawl. And this is due to be released either at the end of this month or the beginning of next month. So either end of April, beginning of May. Obviously, I'll keep you updated when I know an exact time as to when this will be released. But I felt this really strong sense of responsibility after being asked to test knit this. Not in a bad way, by any means, but I usually, when I'm knitting things, the only person that I have promised anything to is myself. That I want to knit this and I want to wear this when it's done. But being asked by someone else to knit something for them, it really made me conscious of wanting to spend a lot of time working on it to make sure that I was giving it as much attention as I possibly could, and that I get it finished on time, because there is a due date for this shawl. So I have been spending the majority of my knitting time working on this shawl, which is why it has grown. Look at this. Ugh. So the two yarns that I'm using are, this yarn is my second instalment of the Harry Potter Yarn Club from a Homespun house. And the colourway name is After All This Time. It is a Snape Lily Potter inspired colourway, and I absolutely love it. It's absolutely beautiful. And I also have a Rowan fine art yarn for my contrast colour for my lace edging. And as you can see here, I have started on the lace pattern, which is what has inspired the Budding Bluebells name, because each one of these little lace patterns, if you can kind of see them there, aren't they lovely? Looks kind of like little bluebells. I am so happy with how this is turning out. It's not kind of coming true to colour on the camera. Oh, that's a little bit better. It's a really nice tonal purple yarn for the edging, which really picks out the purples, the darker purples and the browns in the yarn, and I really, really like it, and it's just beautiful. Can we talk about how nicely it looks with my new dress, which we'll be coming to later? But I love this pattern. I was a little bit hesitant because I haven't done a huge amount of lace knitting. Well, I've done some, but I wouldn't consider myself as a very experienced lace knitter, and this lace pattern, I believe, is a 24 row repeat. I think it's 24 rows. It looked a little bit complicated. Mina's pattern is amazing because it's so detailed. She includes charts for the lace, but she also includes row by row written out instructions as to how to do the lace. And I surprised myself because I thought that I'm a very visual person, I'm quite a tactile person, and I thought that I'd be all about the charts for this. But as it turns out, I'm really into reading the line by line patterns. But the nice thing about her pattern is that it gives you that option. It gives you the option to do one or the other. You don't have to force your brain into doing something that it doesn't want to do, which is lovely. But yes, I am up to, I believe, row 8 of the lace pattern, and I think that you end up doing... It's very adaptable. You can change it to how you want, but I think I'm going to end up doing maybe 48 rows of the lace. And I'm really enjoying it. It's really addictive. It's complicated, but not so complicated that you feel that your brain is falling out of your ears. The first time you do one of the repeats, you kind of go, oh, okay, this is how I'm doing it. And then when you're looking at the knitting, it becomes a lot easier to read in terms of what comes next, or at least that's what I found. I've done a lot. There's a lot of stitches on these needles right now, and the body is really quite big. I really love it. And yet I do have a name for it now. And people who've watched my podcast previously will know that I do like to give my projects names, be they funny names or just names that are specific to them. And for this project, surprisingly enough, it's going to be my Lily and Severus shawl, for obvious reasons. And it's nice because the bluebell kind of pattern that's in here, I think really translates into a lily pattern. So it's working for me on many levels. I'm really enjoying working on it, and I'm thinking if I keep going at the rate that I'm going, particularly because I'm on my sewcation time and I have more time to kind of get some knitting done because I'm not traveling to and from work every day, this may be a finished object next week. Shh. It's a secret. It has to be a secret because I have to trick myself that I didn't say that, otherwise I totally won't get this finished for next week. And in case you were wondering, I am using my Chalgoo needles, 4mm, and Kristen on one of her previous podcasts, that's Kristen of the Yarngasm podcast and Veil and Vine Yarns, called this the Louboutin of knitting needles because they have the red sole and this has the red cable. And I'm a big Kristen Louboutin fan, and that just did it for me. Really did. It makes me love these needles even more than ever. But yeah, loving everything about this project so far. Fantastic. So what else is on my needles in terms of works in progress? In my Adelaide Cottage amazing drawstring bag, I have once again my Harry Potter Netflix and Knit Weasley jumper. And this has been getting some love. I have been knitting on the sleeve again. I'm still on the same sleeve. I thought this would grow a lot quicker than it has. It's getting there. Definitely getting there. I really do, like I said, want this to be finished by the end of the month. I want to get this off the needles because as it's starting to warm up, knitting on something that's Aran weight is really not going to be fun when weather starts getting warmer. But I do love it. I'm loving this colour. Oh, it's so beautiful. And I want it to be finished because it's great, and it would be just the loveliest culmination of the Harry Potter KAL to have my Harry Potter sweater finished. By the way, you guys, total detour from talking about works in progress, but when I am in Florida in October, November this year, I am, of course, going to be going to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And let me know what your thoughts are about me trying to take this sweater with me and taking some pictures in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Because this is an Aran weight sweater. This is going to be hefty when it's finished. Look at its heftiness. And I have no idea what kind of weather will be like, and whether it'll be wet, whether it will be cold, whether it will be still hot. Because I come from a place where it pretty much rains all the time, and our idea of a hot day would be about 18 degrees centigrade. If it was 18 degrees, I'd be like, whoa, this is so hot. So let me know your thoughts, because I might just take it anyway and take some pictures in it and then put it away, but we'll see, because I kind of feel like I have to take it. I feel like that's its destiny to go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. But let me know. Thoughts on a postcard, please. The last kind of work in progress that I have this week, yeah, the last one, because I've just been monogamous knitting on that shawl. Everything's just been languishing this week, but I do have something new to share with you, which I'm very excited about. So first of all, I've completely run out of project bags. I have too many whips, and that means that I had to resort to something a little bit different for this project bag. I'm using Mickey and Minnie bag from the Disney store. but I do think it's appropriate for what's living in here. So in case you don't know, lovely Sue and Chelsea, hi ladies, over at the Legacy Knits podcast are currently doing a stuffy along, and I believe that this is not just a KAL, it's kind of, you can knit, you can crochet, you can sew, anything that you want to make a stuffy, and yeah, enter it. So you may or may not remember a few episodes ago I was lucky enough to be donated a pattern by one of my lovely viewers, Fee, who is Noni26 on Ravelry. So hi Fee, I hope you're well. And she was generous enough to donate me what is just the perfect pattern for me in terms of doing a stuffy along. And that is a pattern by Louise Walker, and it was called Jolly the Pug. And so when it came to doing a stuffy along, the only thing that I could cast on was this little pug. And of course, he's no longer Jolly the Pug. He's Baby Rolly the Pug. And I haven't made a huge amount of progress on him, but let me just show you how much I have so far. So this will be his little face. Oh my goodness, look, isn't it adorable? This is knit on 4mm needles, and I am using some Knit Pro cubics. And I bought these, I'm not going to lie, because Kristen was raving about these on the Yarngasm podcast, and they are amazing. I'm absolutely loving working with these, the cubics. They feel really nice in the hands, and they've got this really nice click to them. I'm not usually a fan of wooden needles, but I'm really enjoying using these. Without giving too much away about the pattern, because it is a paid for pattern, I just love, if I can kind of show you, you knit in this little fold, which is like one of his little face folds. Can you see that? Kind of, the little face fold here. That is knit into the pattern, because anyone who's ever seen a pug like my little Rolly, they have a lot of folds on their face, so to knit one of those in is adorable. So I've just done his little face. I'm getting to the point where I'd need to increase for his body. But before you go any further, it does ask that you insert the eyes into his little face. And I was searching for eyes in my local kind of haberdashery, and the only eyes that they had were these super creepy orange and black ones, which I think would look good in maybe a cat toy or an owl toy, but nothing else, and definitely not a pug. So I've ordered some little eyes online, and I'll pop those in when they arrive, and then I can continue making him. But he is so cute. The yarn that I'm using is actually something from Stash. I'm not entirely sure what it is. I know that there is definitely acrylic in this yarn. It's acrylic wool and something else, I think, but it's the perfect colour for a pug, this lovely kind of fawn colour. And then the contrasting black that I'm using is again from Stash, but I know that this is Cash Soft by Rowan, and it's just in the black colour. And this is a 4-ply, so I've just been doubling it over to use for his little face. And it's worked really well so far. And yeah, I never imagined myself being the type of person who would knit stuffies, or as we call them in the UK, cuddly toys. I feel incredibly American saying stuffies. I've never used the term stuffy in my life before coming across this on Sue and Chelsea's channel. Back me up, everybody else from the UK. It's cuddly toys, right? It's cuddly toys. But yeah, stuffed animals, stuffies, cuddly toys. But yeah, his little face is just adorable. I'm so enjoying working on him. This literally was about one evening's worth. Not even that, maybe an hour and a half, and that was just because of the complexities of his little foldy face. This is going to fly off the needles. When I get those eyes, this will be done, and I'll have a little mini Rolly, little baby Rolly the pug. So thank you, Sue and Chelsea, for doing a knit along that I just never would have done this. And I could see quite a lot more little stuffed animals in my future, to be honest, because this is adorable. So that does conclude all of the whips that I have, all of the works in progress that I have. But before we move on to anything else, I do want to talk a little bit about my Cozy Memories blanket. So first of all, it's living in my beautiful Homespun house tote bag, which I love so much. Whenever I get this out, it makes me so happy. And I do have my little folded sandwich of my Cozy Memories blanket. So I haven't worked on this anymore from when I last showed it to you. 8 little squares, looking a little bit lonely. But the reason that I wanted to kind of talk about this quickly this week is my dear friend Shannon of the Sewcation podcast is going to be hosting, is actually currently hosting something called the Blanket Blitz KAL, which basically means get out your Cozy Memories blanket and show it some love. So to be a part of the KAL, the only thing that you need to do is work on your Cozy Memories blanket. It doesn't matter if you knit up 100 squares or 1 square. Just by putting a little bit of love into your blanket, you can be a part of the KAL, post in her thread, and be in with a chance of winning some lovely prizes that I think she has lined up. Also, it's not just limited to blankets. So I know that a lot of people are making Cozy Memories blankets. Some people make the little hexie puffs, which are gorgeous. It's also any kind of mini knitting, so like little mini stockings or mini sweaters. I know that Jenny of the Lone Larch podcast has been knitting lots of little mini stockings and they're adorable. So Jenny, you could take part in this Blanket Blitz KAL that Shannon is doing. But I wanted to mention it just because obviously I adore Shannon, love everything that she does, but I am going to be taking part. I have so many minis now. People have been so wonderfully generous in sending me all these minis that I really want to get some of them into this blanket. So watch this space. There will be some action, some love going on with this blanket really soon. But yeah, go and visit Shannon's Ravelry group for the Sewcation podcast and get involved with the Blanket Blitz KAL. I just love folding this up. I know so many people say that, but folding it up makes me really happy. We are whizzing through this week, you guys, absolutely whizzing through. Shall we move on to the next segment? Next up is For the Love of Pod, where I talk about a couple of podcasters who've been bringing me a special amounts of joy this week. There are 2 podcasts in particular that I would like to talk about this week who've been bringing me extra special amounts of joy. So first up is a lady who I have been watching for a little while. She is by no means a new podcast, but I haven't yet mentioned her on my podcast, so I wanted to send her some special lots of love, and that is Vero of the Along the Lanes podcast. So hi Vero! Mwah! Sending you so much love. She actually gave me a little hello in one of her most recent podcasts because she was at Platform 9 3/4 in King's Cross. And I used to, when I was commuting in and out of London, be at King's Cross all the time. And I always used to go and lurk in the Harry Potter shop that they have near Platform 9 3/4. And I loved it. But it's been a long time since I went to visit. So thank you so much, Vero, for sharing that with me. It was lovely. But about her podcast, one thing that I absolutely love about Along the Lanes is the production quality. Now this may sound a little bit odd, but coming from a creator of podcasts and videos and that type of thing, one of my favourite parts of doing this is editing these videos and creating fun segments. So it's a big part of what makes me happy about doing this podcast. And Vero, every single time she posts an episode, there will be something that makes me want to be a better podcaster and a better video creator in general. If you watch her podcast, you'll see what I mean. She has such an amazing eye for good shots and nice combinations of footage, and I know that type of thing takes a lot of time. I know from experience that it takes a lot of time, so I just want to say thank you for producing such amazing videos that genuinely make me want to do this job better. So, but besides the fact that it's a genuine joy to watch her podcasts, the things that she talks about are fascinating. She always has amazing projects. I love her combinations of colour that she comes out with. And she's always doing something really interesting and cool. I would really recommend, if you go and take a look at her podcast, that you check out the videos that she made at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. As I've said on previous episodes, I wasn't able to go and I was absolutely gutted. And watching her videos made me feel like I was there. They were amazing. It just really put you right in the middle of the action and they were fantastic viewing. and it was fantastic. Can I say fantastic any more times? I don't know, but go and check her out, Along the Lanes. Love you so much, Vero. Sending you huge big kisses. Mwah! The other podcast that I would like to draw a little bit of attention to this week is a new podcast. Yay for new podcasts! It's one that does seem to be talked about by quite a lot of people at the moment on different podcasts, and I think for a really good reason, because I love it. It is the Notorious podcast, and that is hosted by Kelly and Carrie. And they're just fabulous, you guys. They have the most amazing relationship. Being a single podcaster, I just sit here and talk to you guys. Sometimes it does feel a little bit weird, and I can sit here and kind of go for ages because I lose my train of thought, and then there's no one to get me back on track. So I love watching podcasts with two hosts because they bring an energy that you just don't get when it's one person on your own. And the type of relationship that Kelly and Carrie have, you just know that they are the best friends, and it's such a joy to watch them chatting and laughing and having a good time. I just feel like you're the type of people that I'd like to hang out with, and I genuinely can't wait to see where your podcasting journey takes you guys, and I'm sending you huge amounts of love. Thank you for entertaining me while I've been on my Sewcation, and I can't wait for your next episode, so go check them out, guys. Go check out Notorious. So I think it's about time that we address the elephant in the room that I've been avoiding talking about up until this point. And that would mean that it's time for So What? So like I said, I'm on Sewcation at the moment. I am trying to do as much sewing as possible. So far, all of that time sewing has been invested in this garment. This is, of course, my Anna dress. The pattern is by Hand London, and it is available for download on their website. So you download it as a PDF, print it out, stick together the pattern pieces, and voila, you have a pattern. This dress pattern was one that I have seen on numerous occasions on the Yarngasm podcast. I feel like this is turning into the I Love Yarngasm podcast, but I'm fine with that. But Kristen has made a total of 5 versions of this dress, and it just got to the point where I couldn't not make it anymore. So this is the Anna dress, but I do kind of think of it as the Kristen dress because she is the person who inspired me to make it. And this fabric is by Cotton and Steel, and it is one of the prints that they produced for their Cat Lady series of prints. And if you can see, it's lots of little balls of yarn, and I must give credit where credit's due. Again, I saw this fabric on Melinda, the Yarn Woman podcast. She is going to be making a skirt out of this fabric, and when I saw it on her podcast, I had to buy some for myself and make a dress. So this is basically a combination of me fangirling over various podcasters. Again, I'm perfectly comfortable with that. But yeah, let me talk about this pattern. I loved it. There is pretty much nothing about the Anna dress pattern that I would change. I think it's an incredible pattern. I think it's very flattering. I think it's very simple. If you're looking for a first dress project, this dress has got a lot of good things going on. The sleeves are actually a part of the bodice pieces, which means that you are not needing to set in sleeves, which can be a real pain if you're new to sewing. It also has very flattering shaping. Let me just show you around. Oh, I'm wearing it with my little belt because I love to have things cinched in at the waist. Very flattering fitting along here without being too demanding because it has pleats in the front section as opposed to any bust darts or anything like that. So it's quite relaxed around the bust, which is really good if you're not used to fitting things. It has a nice A-line skirt, which is just below the knee at this point, but obviously I can't show you that. It's a pattern that would work with a huge amount of different fabrics. This is, of course, a quilting cotton, and to be honest, the next time I make this dress, because I will be making it again, I'm not sure whether I'll go for quilting cotton. It's a lovely fabric to use because it comes in so many amazing prints, but because it's 100% cotton, it creases like nobody's business. So just from sitting in this dress while I'm doing this podcast, I already have creases. Can you see those? These creases? Which is fine. I think it's a simple cotton summer dress. It's not designed to look super chic. You know, I'm covered in yarn, for goodness sake. It's not really the most chic thing that you can be wearing. But yeah, it's something that I would probably recommend getting something with a bit of a polyester content, just so that it doesn't crease as much. But I love it. It is so flattering, really nice to make. Couple of things that I would change the next time that I make this dress is because it's A-line, more of an A-line finish. It's not something that I'm really used to in terms of garments that I've been wearing. I tend to wear at least a 3/4 circle skirt in dresses as opposed to something A-line. And what I've found is, I'm going to get up again, it's a little bit tight around the little tummy area here and my hips. As you can see, I have quite pronounced hips. I'm a bit hippie. A-lines are not necessarily the most flattering for people who have the love handles. So next time I make it, I'm fine with this kind of look. It is a little bit, makes me feel a little bit plump in the old belly department, but that's fine. Next time I make it, I will definitely look at slightly increasing the fit around my hips, because as you can see, it fits really nicely around my butt. This is getting really inappropriate, but yes, I will basically add a little bit more into here so it's slightly more flattering around my love handles. That wasn't awkward at all. In terms of the rest of the fit, it came up very true to size. A lot of modern patterns I find sometimes put in too much positive ease. That wasn't the case with this dress. I pretty much just picked the size that matched my measurements and went with that, and we were good to go, which is great. The other fun thing that I added on this dress, I used French seams, which basically means that you sew the seams twice to kind of enclose all of the raw edges inside the seams, so that even on the inside you don't have any raw edges. And I also inserted an invisible zip with my amazing new invisible zip foot, which I bought yesterday for my sewing machine. If you want to see a little bit more about the construction of this dress, the vlog that I put up yesterday, which was, well, I filmed it yesterday, put it up this morning. Does that make sense? I'm getting so confused as to what day it is. Day 3 of my Sewcation, which is called Somebody Made a Dress Today. I do go through the whole process of sewing this dress, and I show you the internals a lot more. I show you the zip, and so if you want to see everything in a little bit more detail, then check out that vlog. So moving on swiftly to the next segment, which is Ask Me Anything. In my Ravelry group for Inside Number 23, I have an Ask Me Anything section, which basically means that you can go in there and ask me anything. So I went through the Ask Me Anything thread and picked out a couple of questions that were really speaking to me in terms of what I felt like talking about this week. So let's get started, shall we? So first up, I have a couple of questions that were posted by Nikki Hippie, who is Nikki from Portsmouth in the UK. So hello, Nikki. Hi, and thank you for both your questions that you posted in the Ask Me Anything thread. So the first question that you posted was that you're currently working on Christmas projects alongside your regular works in progress, as you want to have lots and lots of lovely homemade things to put up at Christmas, which is amazing. How well organised are you? But basically you said, I am totally in love with the little mice you made in your Vlogmas videos and would love to know more about them, as I'd love to have a go at them myself. And so I've got a couple of little guests. Hello! So in case you haven't seen these little guys before, over Christmas in my Vlogmas videos, some of you may have seen them, some of you may not, I made these little Christmas decorations. These are the Cinder Mice collection. So they're basically 3 little Christmas decorations that are inspired by Cinderella. And these kits were gifted to me by my mum for my birthday last year. They were kind of a make-along, which was so nicely organised. You got a kit in October, November and December, and each one of them had all of the materials and the instructions to make one of these little mice ornaments. So this is Cinder Mouse, who is obviously Cinderella, with her cute little embroidered dress with all these little embroidered flowers on it. So that is Cinder Mouse. The second kit was Mouse Charming, who is adorable in his little frocked coat and his little crown. And then the last kit was the Fairy Godmouse, who is this one. She has lots of tiny little sequins all sewn over her dress. She has the most amazing glittery wings and a lovely glittery wand as well. So yeah, those were the 3 kits that I got. So they were produced by an incredible lady called, her company is What Delilah Did, which I will link everything in my show notes as always, but she is amazing. You should follow her on Instagram. That's where I found her originally, and she has a blog that she updates on a regular basis. She creates embroidery patterns, cross-stitch patterns. She's released books in the past, and these little mouse kits were a collaboration with a company that I think is called Cloud9 or Cloudcraft I think it is, and they put these kits together for Christmas to make little Christmas ornaments, and I believe it was such a success and so many people enjoyed taking part that they may repeat it again this year. But like I said, follow her on Instagram and check her out and see what's going on, because that will be the best way to keep up to date. But I would say each one of these little guys was such a joy to make. The patterns were really, really easy to follow, but also she made videos, kind of a step-by-step video tutorial for every single step to make one of these little mice. I do think that the patterns are still available online. I'm not sure if the kits are. I think the kits were kind of limited availability, but it's basically just kind of bits of felt, an embroidery floss, pipe cleaners for the tails, but yeah, I would really, really recommend doing these. They are so adorable, and I know that I'm going to keep these forever in terms of being little Christmas ornaments, and hopefully be adding to them next year, because I'm definitely going to be taking part in that little make-along again, because they're adorable. So cute. So you did post another question later in the Ask Me Anything thread, Nikki, which was, I've decided that I would quite like to make a cozy memories blanket. Yay, cozy memories blankets. And I was wondering if you started yours with a kit. If not, what are your favourite places for mini skeins? I've never bought mini skeins before, so not sure where to start. So Nikki, I did buy a kit to start my cozy memories blanket, and that was the kit that was provided by Molly of Homespun House. That came with this tote bag, which is to store your cozy memories blanket in, and it came with a whole selection of mini skeins as well, which I still haven't broken into, you guys. So it came with a lovely selection of mini skeins. With my blanket, the first couple of squares that I did were all from projects that I had already made. So socks, if you're knitting a lot of socks, I would say the likelihood is that you will have yarn left over. If you have leftover yarn, put it straight into a cozy memories blanket. I would say that's the best place to kind of start. The amazing thing is that so many people are into mini skeins at the moment that the majority of indie dyers that I like and follow at some point have been putting out mini skeins. So I would say if you have a particular yarn dyer that you really, really like, that you're very into their colours and you've used their yarn before, then go and see whether or not they do mini skeins, or get in touch with them, see if they've done it in the past and ask if they intend to do it in the future. One thing that I would say, if you really, really want to start out, there are a lot of these amazing things now called swapless swaps for mini skeins, because I would say the majority of minis that I have been given have come through swaps, which if you haven't started collecting your minis yet and you don't really have that many, can be really difficult, because obviously you don't have anything to give in terms of doing a swap. But there are these swapless swaps where you can pay a certain amount of money, and then the person who's organising it will gather up lots of different skeins of yarn, will then divide those up into minis and then send them out to the people who want them, which is a really, really cool idea. I think if you go into Ravelry and you search for swapless swaps and mini skeins, then there are groups that you can join and come up with that type of thing. So I really hope that's helpful. So the next question that I want to answer was actually asked by 2 different people. It was asked by G Ferry, who is Jerry. So hi Jerry. It was also asked by T Plays Nice, who's from Plymouth in the UK, but unfortunately I'm not sure what your name is as it wasn't on your Ravelry profile, but T Plays Nice. Hello. Both of you were asking about online retailers for fabric and the type of places that I use. I think, Jerry, you were asking more specifically where I buy my fabric in general, but to put these both questions into one, at the moment I do tend to buy a large amount of the fabric that I use online. There are some amazing online retailers for fabric in the UK. Sorry guys in the States, this is going to be specific to the UK because where I can, I will always choose to buy something from the UK just because when I purchase overseas, I do have to pay customs on things and that makes me sad. But for UK online suppliers, the ones that I tend to use, there's one called Fabric Godmother, which I can really recommend. Fantastic selection of fabric. They keep things very up to date. There's another newer one, which is called M is for Make. And this is one that I discovered on Instagram. They come up with the most amazing prints and all of these fabulous bits and pieces that just makes me want to buy everything. The other two places that I would like to recommend actually do have bricks and mortar shops in London. One of them is the Village Haberdashery. And the other one is Sew Over It. If you're ever in London, go to their bricks and mortar stores. They are fabulous. But in case you can't actually get there, they both do have online stores, which are fabulous, which do carry a huge amount of their stock. All of these businesses that I have mentioned, I know for a fact have been started by individuals who are incredibly passionate about fabric and the dressmaking scene in general, getting fabric to people that is good quality for a good cost, and I love to support them in everything they do. So yeah, I hope that helped and that you can hopefully get some lovely goodies from all of those fabulous suppliers. Oh my gosh guys, we're getting on, but I have only a couple more segments to talk about this week. First up, I may have been a little naughty because this week we have stash enhancements. So first of all, this is a disclaimer right away. As you may or may not know, I am currently a member of both the Harry Potter Yarn Club, done by Molly of a Homespun House, and the Countess Ablaze Sock Yarn Club. If you are a member of either of these clubs, please look away now because there's gonna be spoilers. I hope that was enough warning for people about the spoilers because I'm going to show the yarn now. So first up, I want to share with you my most recent instalment of the Harry Potter Yarn Club. This month was a little bit more unusual. It wasn't something that I was expecting, but in the best possible way. So let me just show you the yarn. Look at this. Isn't it amazing? So this is called The Boy Who Lived and His Trusty Companion. And if you know anything about Harry Potter, the boy who lived is obviously Harry Potter, and his trusty companion would be Hedwig, the owl. And that means that these colours are really perfect because this just looks like Hedwig. And this is not a base that I have ever used from Molly before, and I've used quite a number of her bases. This is baby alpaca. So it's literally 100% non-superwash baby alpaca, 100 grams, and that is 436 yards. I have no idea what I'm going to use this for. It kind of took me by surprise, not just by how gentle the colours are, which are really beautiful, but the yarn itself. I've never really worked with alpaca, or at least not alpaca of this quality. This is so stunning. I'm thinking it'll have to be a lace shawl of some kind, because it's so lightweight and beautiful. Another kind of surprising instalment from yarn clubs was the most recent instalment of the Countess Ablaze yarn club as well. I know the Countess Ablaze for really over-the-top, dramatic, bright, vibrant colours. So to be honest, this is not something I was expecting either. This is the most recent instalment of the Countess Ablaze yarn club. And to be honest, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it. I think I may be in love with it, but I'm not kind of sure why, because I don't usually go for these kind of dark tones, because there's black in here, there's a really dark green, which is kind of here, which is incredible. But there's also this incredible orange. And it's taken me by surprise, because when I first saw it, I didn't think I liked it very much. But the more I look at it and the more I kind of play about with the colours and think about what I could do with it and what I could wear with it, the more I feel like I might be in love with it. And it's really taken me by surprise. I think it's because it's a very autumn palette. The colour is Mutiny, by the way, and it is 75% superwash BFL, 25% nylon, which is 100 grams, 425 metres. And I think it might be too special to be turned into socks. But then if it were socks, wouldn't they just be the coolest socks you've ever seen? I do have one more stash enhancement, which was a little bit naughty of me, I'm not going to lie, because I've been saying that I'm on a yarn diet. I've been talking about doing 50 points for Gryffindor, which at the moment, I'm not going to lie, is on a little hiatus. I know I promised you an additional video with a revamp of 50 points for Gryffindor, but being unwell and then wanting to focus on doing my vlogging, I do have a video to give you, but I need to work on it a little bit more. So for now, that's just being put to one side. We're putting a pin in it for now, so forgive me. I know that you will, because you're all so lovely. But I did make a purchase. It was a relatively substantial purchase. Look at all this yarn! Look at it, look at it, look at it, look, 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 look. Makes me so happy. Makes me so happy. It's totally the Kristen Yarngasm Voulenvine Yarns podcast appreciation. This is obviously Voulenvine Yarns, and I have 3 skeins of this most incredible colourway, Gashly Crumb, on her Volca base, which is 80-10-10 superwash merino cashmere nylon. This is the same base that I had for my Outlander shawl, and she sent me a skein of this for a giveaway, and I knew from that moment that I had to not only have some of this for myself, but have enough so that I could actually make a garment as opposed to just a shawl or, you know, pair of socks or something like that. I had to have enough so that I could actually make a proper garment. Lucky me, 3 skeins of yarn. I'm gonna be making a featherweight cardigan with this. I am so excited. Like I said last week, I have been swooning over Hannah Fettick and her amazing patterns, and the featherweight cardigan is something that I could die for at the moment. I absolutely love it, and this yarn is gonna be incredible. Does or does this not look really cute together? Oh, just amazing. I was complaining when I finished my Outlander shawl that I didn't have any Voulenvine yarn in my stash anymore. And now I've got 3 skeins. Okay, guys, so we have one more segment to go for the podcast this week. Just one more. And this is the General Waffle segment. General Waffle. And this week, I am going to waffle about something that is still stitchy, sewing-y, fibre-y related. Usually General Waffle is about something in my life that is not necessarily related to the knitting and the sewing and all of that, but this week it is. Something that I found recently is that a lot of people seem to be talking about stitching. Cross-stitching, embroidery, and I love all of that. I would say first and foremost, before I started making clothes, before I started knitting on a regular basis, the thing that I did more than anything else was cross-stitch. Cross-stitch was what really introduced me into crafting. Very recently, Sue has been kind of being the figurehead for the stitching revolution, as she calls it, and she was sharing on her Periscope, which I caught this week, so hi Sue, love your Periscope. She was sharing some of her cross stitch that she's been working on, and it just made me really, for one thing, want to do some new cross stitch, and for another, I thought I would share one of the projects that I've been working on for quite some time. And when you see it, you may realise why. So something that you may or may not know or gather from watching my podcast is that I do tend to bite off more than I can chew. If I can overcomplicate a project in some way, if I can make things more over the top or have to be more time intensive, I will always take the more complicated route. So when it comes to picking a pattern that you want to cross stitch, a lot of people will pick kind of small designs. When I was getting back into cross stitch, so I'd done quite a lot, decided that that wasn't going to cut it for me. I wanted something a little bit more, shall we say, advanced. This project was started while I was still doing my degree, and I graduated in 2009. So to put that into perspective, I saw this print and it was offered as a cross stitch pattern, and I was like, that looks amazing. I need to make me one of these. So you can tell by this picture, this is not your regular cross stitch. This is an illustration that has been converted into cross stitch. So I'm going to try and show you how much I've done on this. And remember, I started this project probably in about 2007. This is my cross stitch, you guys. This is what I've done so far. These are my swans. God, it looks even better on the camera than it does in real life. I really do love it, but can you see how tiny these stitches are? Can you see how tiny they are? And just to get a little bit more perspective, this is the last part that I was working on. Can you see how tiny these freaking stitches are? Is it any wonder that this has taken me since 2007 to do? But I have it on this frame, so it's going to be ridiculously incredible when it's finished, but it'll probably be finished in another 10 years or so. When I said that I like to overcomplicate things, I wasn't lying, put it that way. When I do cross stitch, it's go big or go home. But kind of putting that to one side, the ridiculousness of that monumental project that I've been working on for going on 10 years, I also decided that I wanted something a little bit smaller and more manageable to work on in the meantime. So as I was talking about what Delilah did, who created the kits for the little cinder mice that I made over Christmas last year, I also have one of her books. This is called The Secret Garden, and it's an embroidery book. The project that I love more than anything is obviously this little chap on the front, this little bee. I have such a thing about bees, you guys. I don't know what it is, but I love them. And you may have already seen this on my vlog as I did show it, but let me give you another little look. A couple of nights ago, I started a little mini cross stitch of the bee. It's very, very small. I haven't done all that much so far. I've literally just done one of his little wings and I'm going down into the body. But yeah, it's really, really nice to start getting some cross stitch done again. I've put it into my general waffle section today because I'm not sure whether this is something that I want to have a regular segment in the podcast, because I don't really know how much interest there is around it, and I don't know how much I'm going to have, but I may create a complete segment for it. Let me know if it's something that you're interested in seeing more of. But yeah, that brings us to the end of this week's episode, everyone. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of crafty time with me this week. A couple of little reminders, obviously Harry Potter KAL going on. Put your finished objects in the finished objects thread, get knitting. You still have time to knit something if you start now. Obviously I will be vlogging for the next couple of days as well, so do check out those videos. I do upload regularly every week on a Monday. If you have enjoyed what you've seen, please like this video, please subscribe below, and you will get notifications as to when I put up a video. Yay! For now, I am just going to say happy sewing, happy knitting, and I will see you all again soon. Bye! Are you outside? Are you lurking?
I'm really sorry, I have to go. I'm going to just get some clothes.
You know, if you come in here while I'm podcasting, it means that you're happy to be in the podcast. You're in the podcast.
Hello, everyone. I love you.
Are you going?
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
I love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hmm. Oh, totally lost my train of thought now. What was I talking about?